Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you the process of how me and my dad constructed a cosplay of the Rocketeer. The Rocketeer is one of my favorite movies, and he has such an intricate outfit, it just is amazing, I love it so much. And so this video is going to be about the process of how we did that. So without further ado, let's get into that. It all started with 2 plastic flower pots from Lowe's. We cut the tops off, and then we put some sign foam on the lathe to create the nose cones. Once we were done, we glued them onto the flower pots, and this was the start of the rocket. Then we just had to figure out how we were going to make the actual structure of the rocket. So we ended up taking some wood and making a base for it, and then we had some sheets of this plastic material that we just wrapped around the wood and drilled in, and it worked really well. After that, we cracked out the sign foam again, and we cut, chiseled, and sanded it to get the correct shape for the center portion. Once the center portion was done, we glued it onto the rockets, and it was at this point when I was super happy about how this thing was coming together. It looked absolutely amazing. And then it was back to the sign foam to make the bottom parts of the rockets. Seriously, what is this stuff? I don't know, but I love it. I don't know where we would have been without this stuff. Then we used the bottom of some old spray bottles, and we glued the rings onto those. After that, we made some little flaps out of the same plastic material as the tubes for the rockets, and added some ridges on the top. It was really coming together. And I'm actually going to take a quick pause right here. I don't know if any of you noticed this, but there's some writing on the top of the rockets, and that's actually a funny quote from one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Clifford suits up in the Rocketeer for the first time, and he asks his friend Peavy, "How do I look?" And he says, "Like a hood ornament." And I've just always loved that scene and thought it was really funny, so I decided to just kind of put that under the paint just as a little funny thing to have. Back to the process. I took some hot glue and attached some foam rings to the engine tubes. After making and gluing on all the other little tiny details and pieces to the rocket and the flat pieces, it was time for the most tedious part of them all. Individually gluing an absurd amount of tiny googly eyes onto the rocket. The little googly eyes are going to serve as the rivets once we get this whole thing painted up, which is the next step. After painting, we drilled in a little fan, and a thank you to my brother who 3D printed some vents to go over the holes for us. After that, we attached the finished engines to the tubes, and aside from painting little vents to the bottom, the rocket was done. As I said earlier, I still had to paint little vents on, so I masked the bottom and started to do that. Then it was finally completely done, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. And it pains me to say that this is the only picture I ever got of the glove making process. And after that rather sad display, it's time to show you guys how we made the helmet. So it started off just as a little plastic World War II helmet. We cut the brim off, and then we made a little template out of paper for the front of the helmet. And guys, it was not pretty at the start, I can tell you that. But with a little shaping, it got there, and it was looking really nice. We used cardboard to make a template for the crest on the top of the helmet. Then we used more of the sheet plastic, and we heat bent it to get the proper shape for the actual front of the helmet piece. We attached that piece to the helmet itself, and then we masked it all up to figure out where everything should go. My dad cut out the spots I'd marked for the eyes and mouth using a Dremel tool, and then I tried it on. Needless to say, I was a little worried about vision at the start, but I could actually see really well in it. We used some material to cut out the crest and attach it, and I used some craft foam and googly eyes to create all the little details on the helmet. After that, it was time for paint, and boy, did it look fantastic. I popped the lenses out of some huge sunglasses, and then I filled in any gaps using some black fabric, and it looked absolutely amazing. I couldn't be more happy with the outcome. After that, we moved on to the jacket. I made the front panel out of pleather, and then we attached on a bunch of snap buttons to the jacket. After this was done, it was time for me to don the outfit of our high-flying hero. We made this costume for a local Comic-Con in August, and of course, what's the Rocketeer without the lovely Jenny Blake? My friend's costume was also handmade and was beautifully done by her grandma. A shout out on the amazing costume and a thank you for inviting me to the Comic-Con. Well, there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It was an amazing process and I enjoyed it so much. I have made 2 other costumes in the past with my dad. If you guys want to see those, let me know. I'll post a short with some pictures of the costumes. As always, thanks so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.